I'm Dan Lutz, and I'm here with my co-host
Tank.
And we're here on the front lines in the battle against the deep state, the cabal, the Illuminonkeys, and all those that wish to enslave all of humanity for their own stupid, selfish reasons. How's it going, Tank, in this miraculous time?
Oh, things are wonderful. I I got sparked a little bit today when Governor Cuomo, the insane LARP who thinks he's the Fuhrer, he came out today and made the executive order, which I didn't realize a governor could make an executive order actually, but made the executive order that all New Yorkers will wear masks at all times whenever they're not, at home.
Why not at home?
Well, I think that's what's coming next.
That's coming next, yeah.
So he says that, and then he says nothing will go back to normal in New York for 18 months or until a vaccine comes out. And,
no, your internet.
Like, all right.
Your internet's fading in and out.
Played your hand. So he came out. I'm in and out.
Yeah.
How about now? Am I good? Okay.
For the moment.
For the moment, yeah. Sorry, guys. Right. So he says that he is the he will not comply with what Trump said, with what Trump told him to do. Trump has basically said that he's threatened to close both chambers of commerce, which I gather that's to reopen business, and also probably has something to do with them, basically not paying Kim her fee, right? There's something in there that has to do with that. I'm not sure what, right? But then, so he says other things. So he tells us like he's going to force vaccinate us. It's going to be hell here for the next 18 months, right? He is the boss. He's going to completely ignore Trump, right? But then Trump came out and said that it is unprecedented, but he will take the governors out and their entire assemblies if he has to, if they do not comply. How about that?
Yep. I'm the boss.
I cheer when I heard that.
Trump is the boss. So these are.
But you'd want him to do that. I mean, it's insane.
Right.
I mean, you can't keep forcing these things on people, and all of us, we should. And so, we're talking about what we're going to do with the assembly, right? What's going to happen with the assembly? Because as far as the government goes, it is the assembly's job. So now the assembly, I think one of the things we can do is we can launch an investigative jury, grand jury, to go and investigate. And one of the things that we should be allowed to do is to ask for evidence that these people have died from the coronavirus.
Yep.
Like, show us.
Show us the numbers, the real numbers. Let's get autopsies, on everyone that's been committed. Say, look, don't just write it in. Get the healthcare workers to basically say, let's go back over these things. Who really didn't die of coronavirus? The ones that actually did. Let's pinpoint them. Get some real numbers. We'll just like the Surgeon General coming out and saying that they're going to junk the CDC, WHO, Bill Gates models for this, and they're going to use real data. Right, that's just happened yesterday. So there's a big shift happening right now, and so we're gonna see what it's gonna end up looking like. But yeah, calling for that in the New York Assembly, excellent. Giving recognition, to Trump of what's him being the president of the republic. What does that make Cuomo or any of the other governors? They're heads of corporations. They're sub-corporations of the United States Incorporated. Right? That's
that acknowledgement by a sitting president would be so. I mean, that would really unite the entire country. Every single assembly in the country, every state would have, every state and every county, I bet, would form assemblies within a month. If you did that, you would really return the power back to the people, and you could eliminate all the bad actors playing roles immediately. It'd be amazing. It'd be really amazing. So,
well, it's interesting. This Governor Newsom of California, it seems to be, going the other route, right? He's being cooperative with Trump. Now, I wonder, why he's flipped, right? Because these are the two states that have been, they were set up to be, the dominoes, the beginning dominoes to fall on both ends of the country, right? And to crash the whole country from either side. So, California is in cooperation mode, right? And New York is not. So I don't know what's going on there, but it is interesting. Now, I do have something that, from the New Jersey governor. We can share. Let me pull this up. Now this is Tucker Carlson, right? And basically, he's just doing an interview. And this is basically from just today, right? And it's Tucker Carlson presses Governor Phil Murphy, a Democrat from New Jersey, and why he arrested people based on because they were performing religious services, and also he arrested the guy that was at the beach, single guy at the beach. So it's at 9 minutes and 51 seconds in.
Arresting someone for sitting alone on the beach, tell me how that arrests the spread of the coronavirus from an epidemiological point of view.
Yeah, I wasn't referring to that. I actually don't have the specifics as to why that happened. I meant congregation at state and county parks, of which there was an enormous amount when the weather got warm. And the fact that folks weren't, it's not that they couldn't be in the park and jogging by themselves or walking on their own and keeping distance, they weren't. And there were a lot of out-of-state license plates in the parking lots, and we've got some of the nicest parks in the Northeast, if not the country. Again, it brings me no joy, but we felt that was the right decision to make.
So you made that decision, and as I noted before, 15 congregants at a synagogue in New Jersey were arrested and charged for being in a synagogue together. Now, the Bill of Rights, as you well know, protects Americans' right, enshrines their right to practice their religion as they see fit and to congregate together, to assemble peacefully. By what authority did you nullify the Bill of Rights in issuing this order?
Now, I pause it just for a second. Really, see what he is asking him. It's like, what authority does he have to nullify the Bill of Rights?
Great question, yeah.
Right, and he answers, right, and this is just this is like just this short sentence tells you everything you need to know about Governor Phil Murphy. Here we go.
How do you have the power to do that?
That's above my pay grade, Tucker. So I wasn't thinking of the Bill of Rights when we did this. We went to first of all, we looked at the data and the science, and it says...
Tucker says, I could tell you weren't thinking about the Bill of Rights, right? So, what is he thinking about, right? So this interview is very, very telling throughout the entire thing. It's really, it's amazing that he got them on to even talk about it this way, and the governor's attitude about it is kind of very flippant, right? And he's laughing and amused by the question.
Really, wow, how freaking arrogant is that? Because they don't even their oath of office, the Constitution. They don't even know what the Constitution says. Right? They don't even know he was talking about the Bill of Rights.
No. We still use that?
That's old fashioned. That's old fashioned.
That's an old document. We got computers now. We don't use parchment.
I feel like if he would have been honest with me, like, Bill of Rights, I violate the Bill of Rights every day. You know who we are?
Yeah.
Like we're the mob, right?
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah, something along those lines. I don't. I listen. I know nothing about what what's going on in New Jersey politics. Nothing at all. I just picked up on this, right, and I said that's amazing in itself. Because Tucker's talking about violating the bill like through the entire interview. So it's not long, it's 15 minutes, but it's along the same lines. He doesn't really kind of acknowledge any of the Constitution or the Bill of Rights and any of this. And he's sitting like the one guy that was sitting there on the beach alone was arrested. He said, "Well, I don't know why that happened." He kind of like said, "Well, that was it shouldn't have been that way."
Dismissed it, moved on.
Yeah. So,
like, hey, my bad. I don't know.
Yeah, it's like it shouldn't have been that way. Someone made a mistake. But
he's like, hey, it's not my responsibility to put everybody in concentration camps. Anyway, sorry, it's ridiculous.
Yeah. All right. Well, so that's that one. Let me while I'm here on the screen, let me go over a couple of things I thought would be interesting. So this is Ellen, at home. Right, and everyone's kind of remarking about, hey, she's standing so that this whatever's on her right leg is kind of not apparent. Right, they're trying to be, so she's standing now. Okay, but even down here, there's a couple more where it's kind of, hey, why does she have her cigarettes there in her pants? Another one. And then what is this up on here? It's this basically showing about the spirit cooking, right? This information. So it's just pointing out she's involved. Now, here's another one. Now, I don't know who this guy is, but they're showing that he's wearing one. Right? So they're monitoring a bunch of people where they're at. And this last one, which is Oprah, right? So this is Oprah talking about, how you can, on a child, touch him and give him sexual pleasure, right? Yeah, and there's nothing you can do about it. It's going to happen. That's basically what she's saying. Now, this is from a long time ago, right? So let's go. This is from it says Oprah Winfrey explains how a 7-year-old child enjoys being raped. So this was posted. I don't know when it's from, but it's on Spiritual World.
And somebody, which I was trying to say this to my friends who had children, you're 7 years old and someone is stroking your penis. It feels good. Even though you don't have a name for what that is, it feels good. And when I first said this years ago, people were like, you're crazy, because everybody wants to believe it's like sexual assault and you're being thrown up against the wall and you're being raped. And I have said for years, if the abuser is any good, you won't even know it's happened. You will be in it and you won't even know it's happened. And if the abuser is any good, he or she is going to make you.
So that's a remarkable statement. Now it looks like she's trying to basically lay some groundwork, right, for a future, where they try to normalize this, right? Because this is obviously from a while ago. I don't know from when that was.
Was she encouraging pedophiles to be good at it?
Well, you could take that note about it. Yeah, it did sound like she was kind of saying that, but I think she was basically saying, this exists, right, and we have to deal with and understand that we're not going to know when this is happening, right? It's because she's taking some stance that it exists, right, and we have to deal with it. I don't know. That's as much as this is just a snippet. The context is kind of shaky, but no matter what she is saying is something. Well, how does she know this? That's my first question. Yeah. How does she know? Did it happen to her? Now, of course, I'm not saying she has a penis. Yeah, or is she rubbing the penis? Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. This is another gentleman. now this guy is talking about, I'm just gonna play just a little bit of it. New York's children freed underground tunnels, Operation Mercy and Comfort. All right, so this is just from this April 6th on Grows It Well is the channel.
A lot of them were kidnapped victims from Katrina, but this is a drop in the bucket.
Oh,
a lot of you right now are going to think I'm crazy, but in about a week or so, most of you are about to go crazy. Because as we speak now, they're pulling thousands upon thousands of children out of these underground bunkers in cities and dumps or whatever you want to call them. This operation is going on as I speak right now. New York, they've already released 2,100 children. They found that a lot of them were kidnapped victims from Katrina, but this is a drop in the bucket. I spent my entire fortune, my entire life, trying to expose these people. 500,000 children a year have been going missing in America for a long time. 50,000 in Canada. Now, if you don't understand what it means when your media doesn't tell you this, doesn't talk about it, let's just do some math. Okay? You guys mind doing some math?
Well, let's not do the math. I just wanted to point out, as anytime we're talking about pulling the children out from the underground place, I want to hear about it. I haven't listened to this whole thing, but I thought that was interesting that they're saying that a lot of these kids that they're pulling out from there came from Hurricane Katrina. All right, so it's just now
that's interesting. That's an interesting tidbit, which I do believe there was lots of kids taken from Hurricane Katrina. Which, I mean, if they were, how old would they be now? Some of them would be adults, depending on how when they're taken. But did you notice that he said 2,100 kids were taken from New York, which is the same number that were allegedly saved from California from the underground base? 2,100 back when we proved that never happened.
Ah, interesting. Yeah, no, I did not pick up on that. Yeah, that is interesting. So, it is hard to know like what's real or not, right? These are just people that are saying things, right? And we're just tuning in to say just to be aware, and we need the hard evidence to know what really is happening, right? So we know that there is warnings coming out from Q that they're going to be using a lot of say YouTube channels and and sites that you heard were for Trump, right? And you were listening to them, and they build an audience, and they're all going to flip now, right? Because they were set up to grab a bunch of grab an audience, so that when it's time, they're going to try and flip on Trump and force his numbers down. So things like this, if this guy's not real, I have no idea who this is, but whenever you start listening to these things, and you gotta discern. You have to use discernment, and try and hear. Is he trying to, sell you some faulty information, right? Yeah, or is this genuine? I don't know, but it is interesting to find out.
I don't know. The big hardest victory, right? Like, hey, we're winning. So we've all been waiting for the big win, right?
Yeah.
We're going to go in and pull all these kids out all at once. We waited till now. Now, first of all, there's a couple things I question on that. One, if you have the means to do this, to save these kids, why did you wait till now? Because if you had the means, and you knew what was going on and you were really about it, these plans were well in place. They've been talking about the exact same kind of thing for many, many years, long before Trump came in office. Mm-hmm. That's one thing. So why did they wait so long? Now, this is what got me to Kim in the first place, because I was challenging Chinese elders, because every week they were like, "Oh, we're pulling the cabal out," was the story, right? They were baiting the cabal, like those clever Chinese elders, right? And then they were shaming us as being American. They're trying to beat the arrogance and vanity out of us. Sometimes they make people feel bad that the RV didn't happen because your vibration wasn't high enough.
Right.
Yeah, go to hell. How dare you put that on people? Yeah. You take all these people and have them brainwashed and enslaved. They don't know who they are, where they came from. divided us by our religion, our race, our brains, our hemispheres of our brain are even divided. Everything about us is divided because of your methodology. Then you have the nerve and audacity to put one of your loser spokespeople out here to try and tell everybody it's their fault. How dare you? So that's what sparked me. So whenever I hear like this guy, like there's certain things I look for. One, if you need to self-promote, right, but you don't get details, right? There's a difference between saying, this experience happened to me, and this is what I remember it took place, or I've dedicated my whole life, my whole fortune, I've been doing, it's like, who are you?
Right.
Who is that guy?
Yeah. Don't know. All right, but we can dive in. But here's something else I thought was also interesting. This is from a channel, state capital. What this channel is a Master's Report, right? And state capitol stormed by crowds of demanding their rights. So this is Ohio. So this guy is pointing out different protests. This is just part of the protests. Let me go back a little bit here. Now this is in Ohio.
Well, we got the press outside too. I mean, there are some press down here.
So see some of the signs. I'm going to just read them as we go by here. Open Ohio, hashtag Open Ohio without option, without conditions.
Limitations.
Without conditions. We will be held accountable for civil and constitutional. You will be held accountable for civil and constitutional violations, and we do not consent. My constitutional rights are essential.
Yes, indeed. Damn right they are.
Yeah. Show us the math behind the model. Your numbers don't add up. No guesstimating allowed.
It's coming apart at the seams.
Right. It's interesting. Also, is the guy's wearing one of the anonymous masks. The guy with the V for Vendetta.
Yeah.
Media lies, government tyranny. That's a pandemic fear, media lies, government tyranny. And the other one is send healthy people back to work. You know what? One thing to point out about these signs were made by people. Not like when you see some of these other signs, they're all like printed up at Kinko's and done with a
well-funded domestic terrorist organizations.
Yeah. They'll have nicely formed signs and everything.
Yeah. It's like a picture.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, sorry.
No, nothing important. Go ahead.
All right. Oh, okay. Ohio COVID-19, 6,518 cases, 248 deaths, 1,948 hospitalized, 595 ICU admissions, 4,570 recovering at home. No guesstimating. So these are our numbers, right? I guess is what they're pointing out. It's like, stop guesstimating. Oh, we have 200,000 in the hospitals, right?
Because the reason why they keep everybody at home is all those we haven't identified yet, kind of stuff, right?
Oh, yeah. I think that's part of they want to guesstimate. They'll do guesstimating based on the number of people who are home, and they'll say, how many people are already infected at home. If we let them out, then they're just going to infect everyone, that kind of thing.
Right. Yep.
All right. Reopen Ohio. Also, they're not wearing masks. They don't care. They don't care. They don't buy into it. My papers are not essential to my freedom. Your papers, please.
Yeah, right. Exactly, man. That's crazy, this stuff.
Yeah. So let's see. Let's move on a little bit. Let's see. There's this guy.
You don't have to give your name if you don't want to, but
My name's Terry Brian Bending, and I'm here to protect our Constitution. It's being destroyed.
actually, can we step down here? It's kind of loud up here. All right, we're gonna talk to some more people. Okay, so you got two-sided there. Awesome.
No test.
Okay,
no
so
mask.
so what's your name again?
My name's Terry Bending.
Okay, hope you guys can hear.
Ohio. Member of the Constitution Party, but anyway, our Constitution is being destroyed by both parties in Washington. You know, they all need fired as far as I'm concerned. You know, we need more people here. You know, we're a good turnout, 150, 200 maybe.
I think there's more than that. We don't have 100 last year. There were 2 or 3 times that at one
But
time.
we need more people. Come to the State House and defend your Constitution. It is being destroyed. We are losing our rights every day.
Well, these masks are different, and maybe right out of the Black Sun. It just, probably not, but just interesting. Those anonymous masks that are going to probably be in use, just like V for Vendetta. Remember, everyone at the very end, wore the masks, and they come out to go up against the government, right? Because they couldn't see who they were.
Now that I've gotten a little more into this stuff, I realize when we talk about this, we have the right to peaceably assemble.
Mm-hmm. I
think they're actually referring to the assembly, the actual assembly.
Oh,
not just. It's not just about protesting. Right? That's what we've translated it to mean. So everybody, instead of actually having an impact and getting work, think about it. Every one of you, please, somebody in the Constitution Party, send this out to them. Every one of you. We have a whole group in Ohio that's ready to form the assembly, and you can actually take everything that you're doing there, turn it into an affidavit, and call a grand jury and file, rescind your grievances or whatever. I'm not sure if I can say that right, but basically you can voice your opinion and not just be outside yelling and have everybody put you on YouTube and ignore you, but actually put that to work. See, this is the difference. I mean, it's much more powerful to be an organized body that comes together and makes decisions and votes, right? That shows we're not just out here yelling.
Yeah.
We have opinion.
I think you're onto something, because this is a typical tactic that they use, is to take the word that we know before in the past as to assemble together to do actions, right? For form grand juries and to assemble for that purpose. And they transplanted it with the idea is we're allowed to be outside the government buildings and yell at them.
Yeah, we don't care. Don't burn anything down, but just have fun out there, slaves.
Yeah.
Feel free to keep yelling.
Yeah.
This is like, how often do you really see? I mean, don't get me wrong. There's been some really amazing, protests over the years, which the idea of them, I've always thought.
Well, it's when it goes from a couple hundred to 30,000, like it happened with in Virginia, right?
Man March,
right?
Oh, yeah.
So they basically came up and you're not going to pass those gun laws, and they just stopped it, right? And now they're going past them now, when no one can get outside in front. You don't go outside. All 30,000, you get back there, go and protest. They know. You reverse this right now. We already told you we don't want this.
This they passed 1,200 bills during this coronavirus. What a scumbag! That guy should be hung out the window in Virginia. Are you kidding me?
1,200 bills.
1,200. How could you do that? How could you? I mean, you've got everyone. So this is really shady, which really makes me question because that's the kind of stuff Cuomo's done, right?
So this was the vote gathering. What do they call it? What are they calling it? Where they just anyone can gather the votes. Maybe I'm stating the words right, but I mean, maybe it's just vote gathering. They allow for people just to go and gather the votes, and then they're substituting and just filling it up with garbage votes, right? That were not real,
yeah.
all right? So, but that's what happened in Virginia. That's why these people all got swept in and took the Republicans out. And that's what's been happening in California. That's what it didn't make, while I was there and doing all these votes, right, I know a lot of people that said, we don't understand this, why the people are voting and these people are obviously, harming our state, right? It was going on for years and years, right? So it's like it must have been rigged. But now we know, now they're insisting on this type of thing in California, this vote gathering, or, allowing just anyone to gather them up. Before they used to, if you were, you couldn't get to the polling place or something like that, they allowed a relative, like, to hand walk a ballot, right, down, so that it could be.
Oh, right.
But then they changed that to anybody can gather the votes, right? And then who knows where they came from? They, printing presses in someone's garage.
Right. I mean, they don't want you to have an ID. You're a racist if you ask for an ID to vote. It's like, wait, we ask for IDs to get into a club.
That's racist.
We ask for IDs all the time. It's racist.
Yeah.
Like, imagine telling somebody that, like, hey, man,
Oh, how about this? You get pulled over for a speeding ticket, and they ask for your driver's license. Hey, that's racist.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah. Hey, don't be a racist.
I feel like, in actuality, I've thought about this many times. Like, when you say to somebody when they pull you over for something, it's like, they ask you for an ID. I feel like I should be asking you the same question. Like, who are you exactly?
Yeah.
Why are you pulling?
Well, you should.
Why do you have sirens on your car? Why are you carrying a gun right now?
Yeah,
Like,
you should be. I don't recognize your authority. Please explain it to me.
I don't know who you are exactly. Like, what policy are you trying to enforce, and what right do you have to do it? So all this stuff. I'm thrilled. I looked at all the stuff that Cuomo was doing, and thank you to Anna Von Reitz, to be honest, for writing that article. Even if she was tipping off Cuomo, because what it does is it really gives us a reason to really spark people, right? So I got one of the vaccine moms, right, who's she talks to me every couple of weeks or so, and she always tells me, like, what some just things that are going on, and a concern she has, right? And she's there's this whole group in New York that's been, like, on the fence, right? And so, like, a bunch of them, like, went over to work with NLA. Now, we're not against NLA at all, right? Like, they're a great resource to learn from. And but we just didn't feel they took action, or they didn't take us seriously enough, or they didn't understand the urgency of the moment, right? So they have the regular calls and they talk about Q and stuff like that, right? And they're all expecting some big change, right, happen. But if you really, it always baffles me, right? If you look at what Q's saying, he's constantly talking about, we the people, right? Where we go, one we go all. All these ideas of what it means to be a government that, is powered by the people. And that requires people to stand up, not just to be on Twitter and Facebook and posting comments, right? You have to get organized, assemble, and put something to work, right? But but I guess this thing with the masks, right? Forcing everybody to wear masks freaks people out. So a bunch of them came on, and she asked me to come out and meet her, right? Like, in person. So I you can't go anywhere in New York. So I met her in a parking lot, and I went live on her Facebook to answer questions for like an hour. And but it was great. It was like 30 people, or 40 people or so that I didn't know who they were. So anytime we expand past our regular regular people that are kind of with us in this fight, I always think that's good.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of these people were people that did not believe in didn't believe in lawful America, or you got these you got plants, moles, right, that came into our organization, and now they're out there, creating dissension, right, telling lies, right, and in the midst of a pandemic, right, when you have governors, imposing control on, the whole state and defying the president and, the potential for the United Nations to take over. With all that going on, you got nothing better to do than talk about, lawful America. Really?
Yep. Yeah. Well, it's kind of it's some of the same type of thing that they're doing against Trump. They have their shills, that they have to put these people out there for that purpose, right? Just like Bubba, right? They've been planting this out there because they knew that they have nothing else, right? I mean, just think, this whole worldwide pandemic is failing miserably, right? It's Trump acted way ahead of the game, right? But surprised them for sure. That's why That's why Nancy Pelosi was out there saying, "Hey, come on down to Chinatown, get infected." I mean, it's okay, you won't get infected. They're trying to spread it, right? And it failed, right? And however many people already have it, it doesn't really matter. If like Tucker said yesterday, we covered that on the video. They said if it's 15% that actually have it, right? But how much does that actually turn to a death rate? And it's of the elderly still, right? It's not that everyone is dying of it, right? It's people who have, it's the flu. It's just the flu. Everything else is just scare tactics. And is there something else that's happening? Yeah, there is some other ailments that are coming along with this, but are they related to the COVID, or are they related to something else?
Well, I mean, the most damning research that is scientific fact that was reported out of Italy is their first 3,000 deaths. They swabbed 3,000 people after they died, and only 2 of them had COVID.
Yeah,
but they
3,600 people. Yeah.
Yeah, and 2 of them had the actual virus, right? Mm-hmm. So I have a theory about this, though. I think because these guys are masters of kind of manipulation, right? I mean, masters, I guess, too generous, but so I think what they plan to do, right, is they knew that the flu vaccine would increase the number of COVID cases by 36%. So they pushed the flu vaccine first, right? Then the next thing they do is they have faulty tests from the WHO, right? They're faulty.
Yeah, 30%.
And so 80% of those would give a false positive, right? So now, but I think that probably in taking those, it implanted some elements of this COVID-19 virus, right? So then what that does is it mandates the necessity, right? You have mass outbreak, panic, everybody's scared, tests going up, big freezers at, the hospitals, like, oh my gosh, what's happening, right? So everybody's freaking out. So what happens? You push forward a vaccine faster, right? And then when they get the vaccine, I think that would have mixed with the coronavirus that was already there, right? And a large portion of the population. And I think that's where you would have got the mix of that with the sodium, and that's where you would have got your COVID-66.
Yeah.
Something like that, just my theory. But it's based in pretty solid data.
Well, so we know that they're working on, they had 6 strains that they were working on. And that the first one is set up to have kind of it's really infectious, right? It'll spread. So, but it doesn't harm anyone. But it brings like an open receptor that makes it easier for another one that's designed to fit that space to get in. It's hard for it to basically get attached to the cells. This kind of makes it like a docking port, right? So it gets you ready for the one that's really hard to spread, and it really has a high death rate on it, right? So
and then you have to think, Fauci, he actually owns the patent on a delivery mechanism that delivers the pathogen directly to the DNA.
Right.
So,
right. That's
is that a coincidence? I mean, that's a lot of coincidences.
Well, it's all three of them up there. That woman as well. She was the one that also was. I keep forgetting her name, but the one with the scarf all around her. She's also has a patent on one of the others, and the other guy up there that's from the CDC that comes up with them, he also has a patent on one of the others. All three of these delivery systems were right out of HIV. All three of them. So they took these three things from HIV and said, "Hey, let's see what we can do," and put them into the regular flu virus.
Yeah.
Right. And what can we do? And let's stick them in some animals. We'll CRISPR these in, right? And then we'll see if we get something that sticks. It's something that carries on and reproduces itself. And as soon as they did, I said, "Oh, here we go." All right. So they got 6 strains that actually do something. What's their other specialty, other than AIDS? Ebola.
I don't know. Yes. I mean, they're the center. They're the center for disease control.
Yeah.
Or disease distribution control.
Right.
I mean, making sure disease gets delivered the proper way to control the population.
Right. That's what it is. Controlling disease to control the population. The Centers for Disease Controlling the Population.
That'd be called the CPC, Center for Population Control.
Yeah, they got to get the disease in there too, so you could say
Yeah.
for the population. You could say that, but it gets a little long. Center for Disease Control of the Population, for the population. That of and for, they can swap those. They don't mean much when you swap them out.
Yeah. Yeah. So, anyways, so that's going on. I mean, but Trump, man, he seems like he's putting the smack down. I'm not sure what it means in the Chamber of Commerce. But,
I've got a good smackdown one for you to take a look at here. Where to go? Oh. Where'd it go? Oh well, I'll have to find it again. Oh, it must. Oh, here it is. I got it. Okay, let me swear. I'll just share my screen.
the anticipation is killing me, Dan.
Here it is. Trump asking any more questions.
Yep, that's about right.
So he showed that video to them, smoked them, and he says, "Any more questions?"
Yeah, he's got. He can't be under a relentless attack, and expect someone of any kind of integrity not to eventually be like, "That's enough."
Right. Let me see it there. Let me bring over this. There's some of in the group chat. I don't know if you can see this or not. Are you seeing me going to my Telegram? It's the WWG1 group. All right, there's one. Here's the other one. I'm just showing this. Now it basically shows them all walking away from the press conference with like big bites out of the back of their pants, showing their cheeks, right? So anyway, it's kind of along the same lines. Right, so,
but I really want to know, because Trump threatened to shut down he said both chambers of commerce, right?
Yeah.
So I'm curious, what does that mean exactly? 'Cause, I mean, the Chamber of Commerce is, the business for.
That's what, when you said that, the first thing I thought of was, does that mean like the House of Representatives and the Senate? Are those the chambers of commerce? I mean, it's a business, or it's all about mercantile, admiralty law, maritime law. Are these the chambers of commerce that these are referring to?
Well,
Don't know.
he's talking about, it could be what he's saying, shut down both chambers of commerce. You're right. It could be, the corporate Senate and the corporate Congress, right? Because they're just financial, corporate entities. Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah.
But anyways, I think it's needless to say, it's very interesting, all these things unfolding in front of us, and I can't emphasize enough. Tomorrow night, New York Assembly is coming together. The officers are kicking butt. They're getting things together and editing the documents, make sure everything's in line and harmony with the law. So we got a shot here, people. We just got to keep standing up. And hey, good job, Ohio. Give us a call, Ohio. Let us know. LawfulAmerica.com. We'll help you get your assembly, settled, your state settled.
Well, that would be excellent because that's what 300 people he said are there and they can assemble, right? Say, okay, government, you're not for the people. The Constitution tells us get rid of you, right? We can just take you out. Say, no, we're assembling. We are the assembly. We are the government. You're not the government. You're just our stand-in we put there, right? But you're not acting our benefit, especially that guy, the governor from Virginia, Norquist was ever his name. But it's passing how many bills? That's crazy.
1,200 bills.
1,200 bills. When people can't. So what did they just do to the people in Virginia? What's in 1,200 bills? I mean, that's not like they just came up with them that morning. That's a plan, right? That's an organized effort, right, to do something against the people to take away their rights, starting with the guns.
Yeah, it's really tragic. And it's interesting. What's the documentary that just came out? The not Book of Shadows or Behind the Shadows, like that.
Oh, that video. Yeah, from
yeah, it's like the Hollywood documentary. It's like for the stuntmen.
Yeah,
we did it.
One second. It's Out of Shadows.
So Out of Shadows, YouTube blocked it from being public, right? So you can only get to it if you have like the link. And I'm like, what does that say about YouTube? Why would you block that? I mean, I know why, but I'm saying, but let's be honest. Let's start having real conversations about what the hell are you guys doing? Like, you might as well announce to the world that, we support pedophilia, child rape, because it's just crazy to me.
It has 6.9 million views.
It's amazing.
6.9 million.
That beats a lot of the box office,
Oh yeah.
So.
So this is the point. It's like they lost control of this, right? And that's why they're trying to wrestle it. But for some reason Google stopped their censorship, right? But YouTube is still part of that. So why would they, make that hard to find, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, really, you got to think. I mean, this is something we need. If you love humanity, if you love your own kids, you'd think, like, we can't, But if you're someone who's gotten to a very high level by being part of it, that's the only conclusion I could draw.
Yeah.
Why you stop it?
Yep. One of the other things I saw was kind of interesting is about the hydrochloroquine. Medicine that's being normally used in the places where there's a lot of malaria, right?
Yeah.
And in those countries, there is no COVID-19. It doesn't exist.
There's a lot of off-label usage for it as well. It's actually used for lupus as well because I believe it kills parasites in your body. So It's something that's commonly used, to be honest.
Yeah.
For
Well, it looks like it's going to be
things.
more commonly used now, but it's like you need to use it with something else like zinc or, whatever else that they're saying you need to use it for. I hear different things. Use it with vitamin C. Use it with vitamin D. So whatever these other uses, it's still one of the parts. So when the Trump had all these victims of it that recovered. All right, and one of them is a woman who had Lyme disease. So Trump said, "Well, would you like to see our doctor, the White House doctor? Maybe we can help you out with Lyme disease, something that's uncurable." He said, "Maybe we can help you out. Why don't you see our White House doctor?" And she went off. So if she gets cured of Lyme disease, remember, there's other cures that have been withheld that Trump has been talking about. Cures for cancer, right? All of a sudden, we accidentally cured cancer, where that happened a few months ago.
Yeah.
So there's more of this is coming about. Looking forward to seeing how the world is going to be changing as we go here. But did we cover what's happening with Kim? Any news there?
No, other than yes, this is important. I'm glad you mentioned that. I will say that in reference to the refund or the emergency relief funds that went out, this came up with Kim that I was hesitant to tell people to take it because I didn't know. I didn't know what could potentially happen.
Right.
And Kim was working on it behind the scenes, so I thought maybe she was going to be cleared to fund. Now she's not cleared to fund, but what she did was she made it so that by accepting that money, we were inadvertently, agreeing to something against our will that we didn't actually support. That we couldn't lose our soul or something like that. So she did tell me that she made sure that was the case, right? So we're not bound in that way with that. So that it's okay to take the money, basically. Just FYI. And she must have somehow made the money available as well because they didn't have money to get. But I was suspicious that somehow the President Trump saying he's going to shut down the two chambers of commerce feels to me like a threat in response to you either pay the administration fee so that we can function, or I'm going to shut you down. This is my vibe.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's good.
So,
It's good news that it's okay to use it. I'm not sure how I could use it, but it would be good if I could use it. I could use some stimulating. That's like, I've got so on the gold grain coin, right? It's fine. It's no problem with that, But we're building an exchange for it so we can go onto CoinMarketCap. And so the problem is that some of the programmers are in lockdown, and so I'm kind of waiting. So they said, we're on the 14th. They're going to lift the lockdown. And I said, well, what if they don't? And of course they didn't. And so I was like, extended more time before that gets done. And we also have the auction site, which is also same issue. Right? Waiting for that to get done. So it affects things in so many ways. It's like this is an internet. What's your problem? You have to go to an office. You can't work from home. What's the problem here? It's like Anyway. Yes. So, we're just at an hour. You want to cover anything else, or are we good for today?
I'm good. I'm satisfied. Feel like we got out what we needed to. So.
All right then. Well, we'll be back then tomorrow. Thanks everyone. Thanks for all you're doing, and people in Ohio, contact Tank, Lawful America, and get the Ohio Assembly going there. Roll over those guys that are in that building. So guys in Virginia, get your assembly going. Get rid of these 2,100 bills they just force fed you.
Absolutely. Awesome sauce. All right, man. Dan, you have a great night, everybody.
All right. Good night, everyone. Great night. All right. Be sure to subscribe, share. Please share. Thumbs up. Positive comments. See you tomorrow.